Good evening. I'm Anupam from the batch of 22. Uh, and I have been given some questions which have to be recorded in the video interview. The format is simple: 5 minutes for thinking and 3 minutes for answering. I have a stopwatch and I have a notepad. And let's start. I'll start recording and I'll start the time. So my first question is, give us a brief introduction of yourself. Okay. One of the projects was on one of the projects was on life projects, and another was another patients in BSc and MSc. I have 1 more minute to think, as in when I started the timer. And finance. Okay. Good evening. I'm Anupam from the batch of 22. I hail from Varanasi, and I've been born, brought up, and bred in Varanasi. I studied in St. John's School, Marholi, and I am a fresher. I scored 90% in both my 10th and 12th, approximately. I graduated from Delhi University, and in my degree was BMS, which entailed many subjects in and around management in HR, marketing, and finance, of which I specialized in finance. I and also graduation was something that fundamentally changed my perspectives. uh, I have done a few internships. One of which was in Ministry of Railways. In that internship, what I learned the most was how not to do things, because the way things were done in the ministries and how overstaffed they were, it kind of uh, like put in some imaginations into me how all these can be improved, because the I first time I saw the government functioning, how it functions. And then I interned in an NGO. I was a volunteer marketing intern, and I had some live projects, one of which was on 2008 Rewind, because I'm a finance enthusiast. I designed quite a few algorithms, and one of them was on 2008 Rewind. We conducted an event with several students of Delhi University on basically how we simulated how the finance crisis took place 2000, and it involved creation of CDU and CDSs. Apart from that, one of my live projects was SPS's business research on WhatsApp's business model, how WhatsApp could monetize its business model. Another some I have some certifications from BSc and NSc. From BSc, I have a financial modeling certification for 100 hours, and from NSc, I have a financial derivatives certification. I joined a few societies which helped me learn a lot in my college. One of them was Quizzing Society. Quizzing was my passion since my school days, and I was the vice president of the society for 2 years. And I also joined the Finance Society, in which I learned a lot and managed a lot of people and conducted a lot of events. And some of them were for the first time in Delhi University. I have interests in I love reading about politics and history, and I am such a person. I can intertwine history and politics into any discussion, because that's what I'm well versed at, I think. Thank you. Now, my second question is, why are you pursuing MBA and what do you expect to gain from it? Okay. Okay, so I am Anupam from Varanasi, as I told. So I am a BMS graduate from Delhi University, and throughout my graduation, I have studied subjects like marketing, human resources, statistics, how to make financial decisions, business communication, and finance. So I have studied all of these in theory, and the kind of professional course that a BMS degree is supposed to be, it was not really that kind of an experience that I wanted from Delhi University. So I have decided to pursue MBA to fulfill those of the things um, that were not catered to in my graduation degree. Because I think these schools are much more grueling and are much more receptive to the demands of the industry. Like there So what happened in my graduation, I since I hailed from a smaller city, so I lacked a lot of connections. So it is very difficult to secure an internship if you are not heavily connected, and at least that was what I felt. So I could not gain much of an experience as much as I would have wanted. So I decided that I would better pursue an MBA, where I would get peer learning, summer internships, which is one of the most crucial parts of an MBA degree. So uh, uh, even though I specialized in finance in my BMS, I was not really sure that if this is the thing I want to do, because I haven't didn't have an experience of the other two things. And to start with, I didn't have much of a choice, because HR was really not an option that was allowed to us in the graduation. So we had two. I chose one, and I feel like I am inclined towards finance, but for the first 2 3 months I would really like to experience the best of both worlds. Apart from that, MBA takes the cream out of the country's talent, and the kind of peer learning that happens in this is immense, which the importance of which cannot be understated. And I wish to get a peek into the corporate world, through which would be a launch pad for my career. So that's what I want to fulfill, uh, in, what I want to learn in an MBA. So my next question is, describe a relationship where the other person was from a completely different background. How did you connect with that person, and what did you learn? Okay. I don't know if I'm allowed to drink water, but I assume that since this is the time to think and not to speak, I'll prefer to drink water. Pardon me if it's against the rule. I'll try not doing once I know the perfect rule. Okay. So this story is about a person who was actually my roommate, and I don't know if this counts as something of a completely different background, but I'll try to answer. So I had a roommate in Delhi University. He was from Bareilly. He was in my college was Deen Dayal Upadhyay College, and he was from Bareilly, from UP board. And as you so the kind of different background I am talking about is that I had a lot of endowments uh, and a lot of privileges that he perhaps didn't have. So we although we were living in the same room, but we had two very different backgrounds. So in the sense that he was one of the toppers of the UP board. So Delhi University works on the basis of percentages, and as you know, some of the state boards have very difficult marking schemes. So UP board was one of those which had very hard, which has a very hard marking scheme. So you have to be a topper to score 91 and 92% to get into a decent college of Delhi University. I'm not talking about the best ones, but okayish colleges. So that is one of the many inequalities that exists in our country, that their people are of are of very different educational backgrounds, very different financial backgrounds. So as we started talking, that I was preparing for cat exam, so he didn't know what he was very tricked, like what is this an exam, what, because all he heard of was UPSC, which was a government exams, as in these towns people mostly focus on government services. So he wanted to know, like he couldn't speak English fluently, so he wanted to know if he could. But irony is, I couldn't even explain him how difficult it is for him to climb up the stairs if he starts learning English now to appear for this exam. So what I understood was that we should be a little more humane than a kind of standardized testing that reduces us to uh, uh, mere marks, mere scores. We should not limit understanding of any other person through these scores. And the other thing I learned was primacy of English, which cannot be understated in India, even though just 10% of the people in India understand English. So what I learned was that even like if I get to some such a position that I can influence things, I would definitely like to change the system where English is the feudal language, or the classist higher class language of India, so that such a discrimination can end. And my third question has been recorded. My fourth question is, what is the biggest hurdle you have faced in your life, and how did you overcome it? How did I overcome my biggest hurdle? What was my biggest hurdle? 29 is when I would start recording, maybe. Okay, so what is the biggest hurdle I have faced in my life? As I mentioned in one of my previous questions, that I hail from Varanasi. So, being born in these small cities, it actually the kind of culture that is here, it impairs you. It the My parents and the kind of background you have has a very big effect on your life. At least I believe so. So, and I have faced it. So, it's very difficult to get out of this cage, because it may give a sense of safety, but uh, actually what it actually does is it impairs your decision making ability, like your abilities and your growth through, and it impairs your growth and it hinders your abilities throughout the life. So what I have been adept at in the last few years, and like at least 3 years, from which like I went out of Varanasi in 2017. So at first my dream was just of a local college that I would join, but and there were a lot of red lines, and in Varanasi there is this fad that BHU is one of the definitely the best university in the world, and you Varanasi should definitely wear this badge of honor uh, of being a student of BHU. But I had other plans. I definitely wanted to study somewhere outside so that I could live my life well and I could see the world actually. So I came to this humongous city called Delhi, which was also a very like a very hard journey, because see, ICSC, I have graduated, I have been schooled at ICSC, so it's not a board that gives you very high percentages. So I didn't make it through the DU cutoff. So what I did was I gave a JAT exam that is held for professional courses like BMS. So I got selected for this. I got selected for this after being rejected in the percentage cutoffs that are released by DU. And in DU, I learned a lot. I somehow persuaded my parents. It was a very heavy burden. I have very heavy financial burden on the little income that my parents had. I'm thankful that they allowed me to go outside. I attended fest. I attended seminars. It's a focal point of intelligence. Yeah, I made a very good network in Delhi. I had positions of responsibility. Overall, a very great experience that I could ask for in 3 years, going out from Varanasi with a limited budget. So I have always tried to push out my red lines so as to make more space for myself, and I am pretty confident I'll be able to do it in the future. So my fifth and last question is: consider a situation where you are a top sales executive who is on the way to visit a high client for an order. The person you meet says the order is yours if and only if they receive some kickbacks, bribe. If that what we are talking about, this deal is vital in order to meet your quarterly target. What do you do? Okay, top sales executive who is on their way to visit a high-end client for an order. High-end client for an order. quarterly target. So this would also ingrain in me a habit to take these kickbacks regular to give this kickback regularly. Okay, so on this question, there might be two schools of thought, and both actually make a point. It's not that just one side weighs heavy on the other. So one of them is that you either you stay you work as per the law. You do not accept the you do not provide a kickback, and you the person, like if I am the sales executive, uh, I do not provide a kickback, and I just wear a straight jacket and just refuse to do it, even though if it means missing my quarterly target. The other can be that it often happens in the corporate world, as at least as we see often these scandals emerging. So corruption is not just something that we can relate to the government. It fully happens in the corporate world, and it is one of the flaws of corporate governance as we know it. So the other school of thought can be you can provide a kickback and take the order, but there is something deeper that is problematic with the second option, and why I would like to go with the first, that I do not provide a kickback. It basically is because it disturbs the work culture of the organization that I am working in. I am a sales executive. I am being paid for for doing the sales of the company and selling a company's ability strengths. So if I am what happens with this kickback is it ingrains in me uh, an alternative way to sell, or rather take orders from my clients, that it gives me a feeling of security, that even if I don't happen to convert this order, I can provide some kickback. So it would disturb the work culture of my organization, and it would disturb my own work ethics, because I would think of providing a kickback each time I have an order at my hand. Also, the I and it if a scandal emerges in that company, and if someone is caught, then even I even risk my uh, even risk shutting down my own company through my actions, because these things are taken very seriously when once a scandal is busted. And as has happened many times, these companies are required to change course, or close, or scale down their operations. So I would prefer to not provide the kickback. Thank you, and I'm ending this meeting. I'm looking forward to the feedback. Thank you.